shoulders warm. So the reverse kimura grip, which was one of the things I played around with quite a fair bit. I use this to predominantly get the arm bar, to get the cross collar choke. And we had a look at last week, which was feeding the arm over, taking the back, taking the head arm. There's the arm bar there. So we'll start with some basic stuff today to get the shoulders warm. 2-1 grip, make sure that we have a pulling motion. So I roll my fingers in deep and I take my thumbs out. As I raise my hips, I'll pull the arm across. I'll shoot my arm in nice and deep, and I'm just trying to get hold of the collar. So I'm just trying to get my hand in. What I'm doing is I don't let go of this hand here, so I've got this deep. I push the hand down, my partner goes, he doesn't want the hand there, starts to retract. Hand goes in and finish off. I'll flip that, yeah, okay? Flip that right on your neck. Okay. So for me, this is a really good way to start to set up the cross collar choke, and it's slightly off center. Because if I'm playing here, you know what I'm going to do. So till one, make sure it's a pulling motion, so make sure that my fingers are nice and deep. As I raise my hips, I'm turning and I'm pulling, but I'm trying to put the hand deep. Now if I put the hand too deep, I can't get my hand inside the collar. And if I go over the top, this makes it very awkward for me. So I don't want to kind of shove it down too far yet. So this would be if my partner, man, you're annoying. This would be if my partner's got a pretty good base and doesn't kind of fall. So it's more like we get it to here. So I shoot my hand in nice and deep from here. Guessed. So as I'm trying to pull this down, what I'm doing is I'm feeding this deep. As my partner retracts the hand from here, I shoot my hand in, pull my legs in. Now, when I grip them, I'm trying to grip onto the back of the neck as well. Once again, the choke looks pretty easy. My elbows come together, I'll fold it in and close the space. I'm off center, which means that the hand that he has to try to push to get rid of it is buried underneath. So he has to use his left hand to try and do it, and that breaks his posture. Where if I'm here, does that kind of make sense? So if I'm choking with my left hand deep, I'm always on my left hand side, so it's hard for him to get access to that. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Just go nice. The thing that I see a lot of people make a mistake on the collar choke is the angle of their choke hand, and this will make a huge difference to your ability to choke your partner. So the 2-on-1 grip, right? What I'm doing is I like to raise my hips a little bit, pull it, my hand goes in. But chop this, when I put my hand in, my hand's generally shooting this way. So I get it, and I find it really hard to get the collar deep. So what I'm doing is I get a crunch on it, and I use that pull and reset. But my hand now rolls so that my palm rolls in, so that there's pressure. Where if I'm this way here, can you feel the difference on the shoulder? So what I'm doing is I'm rolling my hand in, and that helps compress the neck as well. So I'm going to give this a pull. He goes, no way, and pulls the hand out. So what happens is I've still got that, where if I can get back, if my hand's open and I'll pull it and he pulls the hand out, there's a huge difference that he can drop his chin down. So once I'm here, it's harder for him to drop his chin down. And even if he does, like when I switch it, once I get the back of this, if you drop your chin, I'm going to be nice to you. If he drops his chin down, I can choke on the opposite carotid, where if I'm open, I can't change the opposite carotid. It's always just a jaw crush. So this hand here's got to roll in. You can feel the difference on that. And this will also make it so that this gi folds. So I'm going to get this nice tight grip on it. Now, if you watch my right hand, I open it up so that my wrist is high. When I choke, I roll so my wrist is low. So I'll get the grip here. So this means that by the time I roll it in, it crushes the neck, where if I'm low already, I can't drive it in anymore. So I get it high, and can you feel the difference? So I can start to crush the neck and bring it in. And because I'm off center, it's the only hand you can use to stop the choke is his post hand. So if he tries to stop the choke, yeah. So I really want that angle on the choke hand. And when you're here, I kind of go, I'll bite and I'll grind to make the choke come on. And you find that this is going to increase your choke. Well, it's going to increase the pressure on the neck and help the posture to help stop him from breaking down as well. Okay, 1, 2, 3. work on exactly the same principle from here. So the 2-on-1 grip thumbs, punch it, pull it, and I'm in nice and deep. So this one was, when I started to do this, it opens up, I guess, like a little bit of Pandora's box as far as what he does. This is what I do. So the biggest thing is I've got to get my hand to this side of it. So what I want to do is I want to hold it and I want to move away and push. I do a small hip escape. What I'm doing is I'm pulling my elbow to my belt and I'm pushing this in. How's that feel? Kind of choky and tight, yeah. So see how I'm heading onto his knee? So what I want to do is I want to make sure I'm pulling that way. Feel the difference on that? Yeah. So if I push it onto the knee, he can kind of use his shoulder to defend it. But once I come over the top of the knee, and it's more of a blood choke, like a head-arm variation choke than more of anything else. But they definitely have to react and deal with it. Like you wouldn't just sit there and kind of go, that's nice. Okay. So 2-on-1, hip bump, boom, pull, nice and deep. So get it, punch it through. This is the hardest part. I'm trying to put off the angle and I'm trying to push and pull. So I'm kind of like, feel the choke coming on a little bit. Yeah. So what I'm doing is, as I'm pulling and pushing, I'm going here. So he has to react to it. And this is set up the whole game plan where we start to get the attack. So even if I'm not getting the choke, the third of the choke's more important in how you react to it. So the more that you pull that arm out, because you're posting, I get access to the cutting arm bar. I'll go ahead and the triangle as well. So, waking up like P. Diddy. What time did you wake up? You know what time it's we leave the house at 7:30. Yeah, you wet the bed.
No, I stayed up with you.
Now, the whole key is to keep the elbow on the inside and get my hand on top. So push down and squeeze. Huh. So then, as I move, he's going to try and get out of it. So my hand comes under, and this is the key. So it's off center. And of course, his hand's underneath. It's hard for him to defend it. Yep. Squeeze. Walk up, cross him, and squeeze. How that feel? How's the choke?
Not on, but it's threat.
It's a threat, yeah. Okay. So one more time. Just watch the switch to the hand. So boom shankar, nice and deep. Hand goes on top. Push, 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 push. Let go. Grab it. Squeeze. Cut my hands. Right in. And now, it's, of course, it's on his head. It's very hard for him to deal with this. So I can do a small hip escape again. Lock it up and squeeze. Right. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And I wouldn't normally teach this stuff or these techniques as a fundamentals. It's a bit more advanced. But we've got to kind of work at we've got to play one side to get another side. Let's go back to my dark side, please. This was my favourite technique for quite a while. I don't particularly like triangles, but this was a really easy way for me to get to the triangle position. So we're going to work the same thing again, 2-on-1, punch it from here, nice and cruisy. So what I'm doing is, as my partner tries to defend the move from here, right? So they're going to generally try and rescue this arm. I've got to make sure that my body's backside of it. Does that kind of make sense? Because the more that I'm here, the more he can drive his elbow up over my stomach and rescue. So the biggest thing is, as I'm punching here, he's off center. So the more I've got to go down to here. Does that kind of make sense? Does everyone understand that? Right. So grab over the top. So the difference on this one is I'm putting the top arm to the triangle. So it's exactly the same thing. It's like I'm here, boom shankar, kill it, over the top, hip escape from it, and now I'm going to push, lock it up. Right. And then if I want to, so you guys, with your triangle, you could probably finish it for me. The way I do is I come back under, and here's your offside triangle. So you can take it to the sweep if you want to. You've got your Kimura if you want to. You've got pretty much everything. And you can just squeeze it and finish it from there as well if you want to as well. Okay? Option 1 was that we went under the arm with our right arm. This option 2, I'm come over the top with my left arm to pull to the triangle. So do that the same thing. So hip bump, boom, over the top, off center, come over, grab, push. How'd that feel? Here, boom, off center. Come over the top this time. So last time we went under for the armbar. This time I'll push and I'll lock it up. Okay. Me particularly, I like to go kick on the hip, and this is that position that once I'm here, I don't kind of care what you do within reason. If you're in a points tournament, start to take the points. And he can't do much about it anyway, because the arms caught. All we're doing is pushing the arms. Yeah, how'd that feel? Yeah. So the arm bars, right hand under, the triangle left hand over. But it's exactly the same thing. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And you've got a couple of ways to get in here. One of the ways that I started to play with it was off the Form Fluke style. And I generally deal with it off my partner trying to get an underhook, but we're going to force them to move. So, anytime that I'm facing forwards, I get access to the neck and to the arms in figure 4. The downward butters, my upgrades become very limited. I can switch base, knee right, etc., etc. When I'm flat, cross-face side control, once again, my options are limited again because it's more about focusing on holding them. So, switching backside. The frame system is that anytime I'm driving into my partner, I'm driving onto the jawline, which means that it's pain compliant. So I always want to make sure, and he can also get his frame. So what I'm trying to do is to alleviate the frame system is I try and grab the leg, I do a small hip escape wave, and I put my shoulder through the neck. Where I'm here, you can feel the difference on that. So I'm trying to get my ear down as tight as I can. What most people are going to do is going to use their left hand to try and push my head away. So they're going to grab it and I'm going to hold it in. So once I'm holding it in, come around here, time. This is the hardest part about the entire move, and you guys should do this really easy, is I open up my hand. I put all my weight onto my right hand, I step, and I hold my foot. So this means that it's super tight from here, right? So I don't want to be here where he can re-swim his arm under and things like that, so I keep it super tight. Now, I'm going to grab the arm, and I'm going to roll him backwards towards me. So most people are going to try and roll over this anyway. So I'll grab the arm and I'll roll, and then what that'll do, that'll make sure that when I get to here, I can free my leg, and the triangle's super tight. The question is, what happens if they don't roll? We'll deal with that in a second. But most people are going to see that reaction because I'm offside. They're going to want to roll me over to get on top. So I'm kind of basing it on, an 80% of reaction of everyone I roll will try and bridge and roll back into me. So that's the whole purpose of this, is that I'm working on their reactions. And it will be, if they don't react to it, we've got plan B. Plan B is a little bit harder to do than plan A. But, like if we're basing our training on the majority of people's actions and reactions, we're in a really good place. Okay, back on. So this cut. He'll generally have his frame on the inside. He's doing good jiu-jitsu. So I turn my head down, I drop my hip down, I switch, I hold the leg, and I'm here. As I feel him putting pressure onto my head, I grab hold, and what I'm trying to do is, I'm not trying to push it this way, I'm trying to hold the arm in. I open up my hand, slide up the body, kick the weight down onto the hand so it's harder for him to move it. And in fact, the only way he can move it is pull it down towards his legs. Got it. Now, rehash the arm, so all I'm doing is waiting. As he tries to bridge and roll towards me, is I'm trying to cut that. Once I've got this, I can use that to pull him, to hold him, so I lock it up. And of course, we're here, you probably won't see it, but you feel it. I can pull the shoulder towards me to make the triangle come on tighter. So the angle switch on the triangle, instead of me trying to pull the head down, I've got that access to be able to torque the head into the triangle position. and it comes on even tighter. So it's going, if I'm here and driving through, it's just straight onto the jaw and all that, and he can use his frame system to push me up and over. So I'm going to try and drop my hips. I'll turn my head down, so there's pressure this way over here. What most people are going to try and do is get rid of on flips, and they try and push me away. I come and I'm holding it in. And I'm kind of more, I'm not here, I'm more here, and I'm holding it in. I open up my hand. What I'm doing is I put all my weight on top of it to drive over. Now, I just try to get my hips, drive, and let go, hold it. So most people are going to go, there's a space here, they say bridge, so as I bridge over, I change my grip and I pull. So this motion here, pull. Now that, can you feel that? So if I'm down here, see how you can drive your head into my leg and create an opportunity? Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this and I'm trying to push this up to put the triangle on. Can you feel the difference on that? So it minimises their ability to counter the triangle. It puts the triangle on, there's a really tight squeeze on the knees. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Feel it because I'm an old man, right? So if I can do it, you guys can do it. Yes? Because you're more flexible than me, right? So yeah. So if I'm up high and I go to grab and I try, it's really hard for me to get mine because I'm high. So what I'm trying to do is once I'm here, is I try and come out a little bit. So now, that's easy to do because this distance, I'm off his body. Can you feel that? Where if I'm tight to the body, if I try, it's really hard for me to grab because this distance. So I'm trying to von fluke, step in the valley, punch it, hip escape away, grab it, push it down so it's harder, hold it, grab it, so as he rolls, bop from here, take him over. And if he doesn't come over, I just start to go over and I'll start to go my Kimura. Feel the difference on that? So he'll come in. So pull, lock it up. Once I'm here, this goes up. And if you're having trouble finishing this, like if Tyrant kind of goes, it's not on, do a small hip escape and take the armbar, because the arm's trapped here anyway. Yeah. So just move your hips away from the body and you'll find that when you step over, it's tighter. 1, 2, 3. When I first started teaching this, a lot of people had trouble because they were drilling, they weren't rolling. And this is more one that it works better in a real situation, like they're trying to resist it, unless in a situation where they're just like laying there, time onto your back. So this took me a little while just to get the hang of. And so it's one of those ones where I'm here, nice and deep, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch the hand down, so this one here, and I'm going to keep the control. So as a general rule, they're going to try and do a hip escape towards me to try and rescue. As I try and hip escape, yeah, boom. So this is the hardest part about it, is I come underneath the arm, I sit, I switch. And this will bring it into the arm bar position. So the hardest part is I need to get underneath that elbow. And a lot of the time, if I start hunting here, they're going to keep the elbow tight. But if I start going here, they're going to gently roll towards me like, God. So now I've got that ability. That's all I want. Just that. So now, push, step and grab. Now, if my partner doesn't bring the arm up, so I get to here and I'm trying to fight it, I just come back down and I have the Kimura because the elbow's already exposed and I've caught the arm. So we'll do the first one, then we'll go back to the Kimura. How'd that feel? Tight? So what I see is people doing this, I want that. Because you've got a lot of freedom there to move your hand. It's here. So I wait for him to move. As he moves towards me, I will do whatever he does in a second is I go underneath. I punch, come over, pick it up. Sit on the same side, knees squeeze. Now I don't bring my leg over the head. Whole reason being is if he sits up to try and get out of it, and we have the ability to go straight to the triangle. Yep. Flip. So it's going the angle. If I'm pushing the hand forward, he's got a lot of play time, he can move his hand into the space. I stop it by putting my weight on top. He would generally roll towards me. That's all I'm after. Once it's here, it's this. I step, bomb and grab, switch.
So it's super tight. If it does roll up, which most people can't do, is I just simply lock up the triangle and have the triangle arm bar for the other way. So the concept is pushing the right hand into the valley, not pushing it up overhead. 1, 2, 3. I don't do a lot of triangles, they hurt my knees. So I have a couple of options that I use for this. So what's going is we're here, nice and tight from here, and I put pressure, so the pressure's done. So instead of trying to push the hand up where he gets a lot of play time, and that is I'm trying to roll on top and I'm trying to push the arm down. That'll generally roll slightly towards me. All I want to do is bring my hand underneath to separate the elbow from the body. I step over, but this time Matty's pretty intuitive and keeps his arm dug in. So I'm trying to pick the arm up, and it could just be me, I could have messed up, you know, but I'm trying to get the actual reaction I can't. So this is the two things. I want to take my leg back over the head, I want to take my hand to my leg. And the Kimura's on. So for me, all I'm doing is I'm isolating the elbow from the body on the first motion. So as I'm pushing in here, he turns towards me, isolate the elbow from the body, step over to pick up the arm like no way, pull. So the arm's fully isolated, the other arm's pinned underneath my hips, I can't defend it, just push it down, and the Kimura's on.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. 100% competition focused solutions today, guys. They're from positions that you get access to a lot. The side control, switch base forward, switch base backwards. Really easy. That last the full finish, 5% is like it's like a 95% finish. If you get that, like very hard. We'll rehash those again next week, and we'll bring some stuff back from last week and stuff from that. Okay, 1, 2, 3.